by one. Play them right and win a ton on Card Sharks. And here's the host of Card Sharks, Jim Perry.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and welcome to Card Sharks. Thank you. You're very kind. Thank you. That poem, see, I told you our audience would come through. We thank a viewer, Brad Yater of St. Louis, Missouri, who sent in that poem. That was a goodie. I bet you can do just as well. Why don't you send one in? Right now, we're going to meet two new challengers. We are going to open the board, and we're going to get to the cards with a brand new match. Janice and Ann, if you will, start loading in the cards, please. And while they do that, we'll meet our players on Card Sharks. Jim Willoughby, our champion. Hi, Jim.
Good to be back.
Nice to see you again. Would you remind us about yourself?
Well, I'm Jim Willoughby from Ontario, California. I'm a minister, the assistant pastor of Echoes of Faith Church there in Ontario, and I love the outdoors.
Good. What do you like to do?
Water skiing.
Yeah, that's good sport.
Especially in Southern California.
And you won one match, and you have won $2,200.
Fantastic.
So you're off to a great start as our champion.
Doing good.
And we're meeting our challenger for the first time. This is Patricia Ortez. Hello, Patricia. Welcome.
Hi. My name is Patricia Ortez, and I'm a recent graduate of that great University of Southern California, but I'm presently unemployed. I have to return to graduate school in the fall, and I also love the outdoors.
Good luck to both of you in the match. Each player has his or her own deck of 52 playing cards, shuffled and cut before we go in the air. And the red cards on the top will be played by our champion, Jim. The lower cards, the blue cards, will be played by the challenger, Patricia. Before you can get to play the cards, you must win a high-low toss-up question based on a poll of 100 people. We always start with a question to the champion. Jim, we asked 100 married women. If your husband decided he only wanted to make love once a month, do you think you'd have an affair? How many women said they would have an affair?
Wow. Boy, you have to throw me these tough ones. I would say that probably... How many said they would, or how many thought they would?
How many women said they would have an affair?
They would have an affair.
If their husband only wanted to make love once a month.
I'm going to go about 58.
58.
58.
Out of 100 would have an affair. Patricia, higher or lower?
Well, I think that they'd probably be anticipating that night. All the time. It'll be so great when they finally get it. So I'd say it's probably a little bit lower.
So you say lower.
Yeah.
If it is lower, you go to the board first, Patricia. If not, it'll be Jim. The actual number of women who would have an affair if their husband only wanted to make love once a month is 14. Very much lower. Patricia. Patricia, your base card is a jack. Now, you won the question. You have the right to change it if you like.
No, I'll keep it, and I'll say the next card's lower.
Lower than a jack. Oh, no, it's a king. So you lose that card, and you give Jim a chance to play a king.
Wow. Nothing wrong with that. Next card will be lower.
Lower than a king? Yes, it's lower. It's a 7. Remember, you can freeze at any time.
I tell you, it's the first game. I think I'm going to take a chance on it. And the next card will be lower.
Going against the odds. Lower than a 7? Oh, no, it's another 7. It's not lower. It had to be lower than the 7. So Janice fills in the spaces with the next cards off the top of the deck. Patricia, this question to you. We asked 100 fifth grade boys, do you have something hidden in your room that you would not want your parents to see? How many boys said they did?
Oh, I know when my brothers were in 5th grade, they had things they didn't even want their sisters to see. So I'd say 75.
75 of them have something hidden away. What do you think, Jim?
Jim, I remember in the 5th grade, boy, I used to bring home a lot of junk. But I'm going to say that it would be a little bit lower.
Lower.
Just got a feeling about it.
The actual number of 5th grade boys who had something hidden in their room they wouldn't want their parents to see is 45. Jim, it's lower. Yeah. Jim, we're still looking at a king. You can change it if you like, but it's still a good card.
That's a good card, Jim. Stay with it. Next card, lower.
Lower than a king?
Come on, lower.
Yes, it's a 10.
All right. Keep going. Say the next card will be lower.
This time he goes with the odds, risking that one and this one lower. No! another double at 10. Wow.
Man.
Patricia, play off the jack and call this.
Lower.
Lower than a jack.
Oh.
No, it's a queen. Cards bouncing around funny, and no one has advanced. And, of course, you've got to get to the end of the board to win the game. Jim, our man on the street stopped 100 people on the streets of New York City and asked, if you were offered a good job in Los Angeles, would you take it? How many New Yorkers said they would move to California?
Well, Jim, never been there, but the stories I hear, I think it'd be pretty high. I'm going to say that offered a good job that 68 of them would move.
68 out of 100 would move if they had a good job in California, Patricia.
Well, that's a hard question because that's exactly what my family did. Is we moved out from New York to Los Angeles because of a better job. But New York's a great place. I'll say it's a little bit higher, though.
Higher. You think more of them would, huh?
Yeah.
The actual number of New Yorkers who said they would take a job in Los Angeles is 34. Not higher, very much lower, Jim.
Got to do something this time.
Okay, here's the king again.
Got to stick with it, Jim. Next card will be lower.
Lower than a king? Yeah, it's a 4.
Right.
That's not the hump that's been giving you problems.
By the time I get a good one. Next card will be higher.
Higher than a 4? It's a 5. 2
Jim,
cards to protect.
I got to keep going. The next card will be higher.
Higher than a 5, risking those 2 and this one,
Hey,
ranking it with a queen.
Can't stop on a queen. I've got to go for it. The next card will be lower.
If this is lower than a queen, you've won the first game in our best 2 out of 3 match. For the win? Yes! It's a jack, and he did it! Game number 1 to the champion. Jim wins the game and $100. We play the best 2 out of 3. The winner of the match plays the money cards. Who will it be? We'll find out right after this. Well, the champion is game number 1, so the pressure on the challenger. She needs this game as Janice fills in the spaces with the next cards right off the top of the deck. Same 2 decks of cards. Patricia, we asked 100 women, if you had $500 to spend on clothes, would you rather buy just one Paris original or a whole wardrobe from Sears?
Oh.
How many women said they would buy just that one Paris original?
Well, Sears is really questionable. I would say a lot of women would really go for the Paris gown, and I'll say 65.
65 would buy that one good original.
Jim, I don't think it'll be quite that high because I think they would rather have a whole bunch of clothes in the closet than just one outfit. And I'll say it's a little lower.
You say lower. The actual number of women who would prefer having one Paris original to a whole wardrobe from Sears is 22.
Right.
Very much lower, Jim. Nicely solved.
Good card.
And your base card. A 9. You want it?
Don't like them 9s. Give me another one.
Must play this one. It is a 3.
right.
Good change.
Like that 3. Next card will be higher.
Higher than a 3? Yes, it's a 6.
I'm going to go for it. The next card will be higher.
Higher than a 6? No, it's a 2. Not higher, you lose them both back to the base card, and Patricia gets the chance to play a 3.
All right, that's a terrific card. The next one's higher.
Higher than a 3? A 5.
Okay, I'll go higher still.
Continuing on, higher than a 5. Another 5. It's not higher. Players having problems getting across that board. Jim, we asked 100 people who live in Beverly Hills. We all know that's a rich community. Do you have a butler? How many people said yes?
Oh, I think it'd be pretty high because most of the houses I've seen in Beverly Hills are so big they need a butler. And I'll say about 64.
64. Have a butler.
It definitely has to be lower. They may have a maid or a housekeeper, but not a formal butler. So I'll say it's lower.
You say lower. The actual number of people in Beverly Hills who have a butler is 7. Very much lower, Patricia.
Right now.
Yeah, I think your logic made sense there, Patricia.
Okay, it's higher.
You're going to keep the 3?
Right.
Higher. It's a 7. It is higher.
I'm going to freeze.
And she'll freeze. Take that 1 card advantage. Keep Jim away from his cards. Question 3 to you, Patricia. We asked 100 people. Have you ever dreamed that you were naked in public? How many people said yes?
Oh, goodness. Naked in public? Probably not many, and if they did, they wouldn't admit it. So I'll say 30.
30. Jim, higher or lower?
Oh. I think it will be a little bit lower.
You say lower than that?
A little bit lower.
I once did, and the problem was everybody laughed like you did, Patricia. The actual number of people who have dreamed they were naked in public is 19. It's
Right.
lower. Jim.
All right.
We're looking at a 3, Jim.
Jim, I like that 3. Stay with it. Next card will be higher.
Higher than a 3. It's an 8.
Right. 3s.
You'll freeze. And that sets up an interesting situation with each player needing 3 cards, and we're at sudden death. Someone has to win with this play of the cards. Jim, our man on the street stopped 100 people on 5th Avenue in New York City and asked them for a dime to make a phone call. How many of the 100 people he stopped were willing to give him a dime to make a phone call?
Wow. I don't know about New York City. In Los Angeles, they'd probably be willing to give him a dime just to get rid of him. I would say 39.
39 would give our man on the street a dime for a phone call, Patricia.
Well, I think your man in the street probably looked like a really decent guy. So I would say it was a little bit higher.
You say higher.
Yeah, I think New Yorkers are friendly.
We showed our man on the street on the air one day. He doesn't look like it. The actual number of New Yorkers who were willing to give our man on the street a dime is 41. It's higher. Patricia. Yeah. I must say, our man on the street, to do that, it took a lot of guts, and he's $4.10 richer. Okay. Patricia, it is sudden death. Here's how we do it. You've got a 7. You have the right to change it if you'd like, and try to turn these 3 cards over. Make a mistake, Jim wins the game. However, you can force Jim to play off the 8, which he cannot change. He would have to turn these 3 over, or you win. Your decision, Patricia. Play it or pass it?
I'm going to pass it.
You'll pass it?
Yes.
All right. Jim, if you could turn these over, you've got 2 in a row in the championship. If not, we've got a tie. You've got an 8. Call this.
Next card, I say, would be higher.
Higher than an 8? It's
right.
a king. You're 1/3 there.
Next card will be lower.
Lower than a king. It is a 9. 1 to go.
I haven't seen that many low cards, Jim, so I'm going to say the next card will be lower.
If this is lower, you've got
Lower
the
than
championship. If not, we've got a tie. For the win? No, it's not lower. It's a queen, and Patricia pulls it out and ties up the match. Are you getting a little wary of your strategy there, Patricia?
Not for a second.
Not for a second. You had confidence.
Right.
Well, we've got a tie. We'll play the tiebreaker right after we take time out for this commercial message.